Good. How are you? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. On Saturday program, we will start by semi-final races, and today is the first day of this World Cup when we will recognize the medalists on this event. C1 semi-final men. But then exactly, we will start our final race, C1 men, and then 12:40 final race for women. So from 16 p.m. we will see the final 2:30 doubles mixed semi-final, and then a 4:10 final race for C doubles. So the weather prediction says that today should be pretty cold. Up to 20% chance for the rain, but you can expect today some południejszym programie będziemy poznać na komputerową stroną online, który prowadzi qualifiers. Natomiast kategoria C1m semifinał. Nasz program qualifiers jest semifinał A1 oraz country 2.66. No penalty seconds. Fernández zo Španielska základný čas za 102.63 bez penalizácie. Pripomínam, že prvých 10 v každej kategórii bude postupovať do finále. needed for 10 will advance for the final races. This is star number 10, Lucas Roman, 25.
V kvalifikačných jazdách, ale samozrejme bola postavená iná trať, dosiahol Jure Lenarčič z Liptovska, a tretí Matej Denis. Keď sme teda u nás tých, tak si povedzme, v akom čase pôjdu svoje semifinále. Matej Denis bude štartovať 9.50 cenier. Mikulovský bude o 9.51, ale sa tým Slalom je, že nepostúpil do semifinále Sever do Slovenska. Ani 7 celkovou poradí svetového pohára. Ja tu budem dívať. A inak samozrejme, je tu obhajca svetového prvenstva Planíčka, rozsvetového pohári Sideris Kasiatis. Majster sveta, Rivan Sášek. rozhodovať určite aj stotiny a desatiny sekúnd. Now we can see star number 32, Mikulas, Spain. It's already second game. So now he's 2 seconds down on the first lead time, just because of these penalties on the second game.
Tak kvôli tej dvojke na druhej bránke má stratu práve 2 sekundy na prvom čase, bez nejvyššia na úrovni lídra Hekika. Jednoduchý nájazd jsou teraz, počká. Já to nás tu pohľadať budeme, teď nás konkrétne do 15. A jedna strata 3 sekundy. 3 seconds down on the second split time after the AQE. Takže nám to tu pomalil ešte aj na výhodnú detonalizali, čo nám dovolal tej strednosti. Intergrame skáču do 23 na 85 sekundy, takže máme ešte zhruba 12, ktorý sa dostal do cieľa a mohol atakovať.
Atakovať semifinálové brány a v druhej išiel ako prvý a išiel tak parádne, že išiel pod 102 a veľmi dlho viedol druhú kvalifikáciu jazdu, ale potom až sa dostal
na štvrtý najrýchlejší čas. A že Aleksandr Nepogodný môže teraz sa tu predstaviť, zatiaľ ide bez penalizácií, stráca iba pol sekundy, čas half a second down, to bolo penalty.
very strong paddler because he is by ICF ranked on 8th position, so one of the top athletes here. But he's actually on the 5. So for penalty, yes, for penalization, and that means that he is 1.5 seconds down on the first free time. Takže taká tej penalizácii jedna posledná ale nejde čisto, dokonca desiatka na pocity sa rozhývala. Uvidíme, ako to bude tu na chvíli na počítači, čo sa tam bude ľudia naozaj aj to tak. A toto je tu na second on game 10, so Anton France is going to stick to class, but not very clean. So Anton France is making trouble to himself. Sám si teda vytvára problémy a pozrieme sa na druhé listo, ako som hovoril na 15. Another 2 penalty seconds, game 15, it looks very bad for Anton France.
that.
Ooh, really on top.
I feel like you can see there's a little bit of lost hope in his paddling right now.
Because with the, well, you clearly know exactly where you are, don't you? You're commentating.
Yeah. But also, without the commentating, you know, 3 touches for a final, it's not enough.
So the judges this year, they've got the very smart little handy phones, haven't they, for doing some of the, and you've seen it, but they're pressing buttons now to give the faults. Anyway, look at that CV, multiple world champion, many-time Olympian, and he's called David Florence, and had the 3rd child 2 months ago. So
I know,
sleep deprivation as well.
So Dave is actually a really cool paddler to watch because he's so strong, but he also switches. So he, in his winter training in Australia during our summer, he was practicing his switches. So we'll see if he uses them today.
But he really is at the forefront of technology, isn't he? Any new ideas that are smart, he'll be there.
Yeah, he's very open-minded, that's what I'll say.
He's a beast when it comes to training. I think you see it right there. I mean, half a second up so far.
And the Brits have a rather competitive...
oh no!
Is that the
C1m, the Brits C1m, they're just getting stronger and stronger. 1 and 2 on the podium at the European Championships.
And it wasn't David.
It wasn't David, no.
Anyway.
Good control there.
But I think that second spin is tough with the water. It just kind of holds you in the gate line, but he managed to navigate it really well.
So it's interesting to see that he hasn't actually swapped. In his second run in the qualifications he did. So maybe he's just
going back to full.
Going back to the comfort.
With David, you can really see the effort, can't you?
Oh yeah. He puts every ounce of energy and strength into his race run, so you can feel the grunt when you watch him.
Yeah. And it's good to see
the last sprint.
Richard Hounsley's here doing some coaching as well, so the whole team's back together.
Ooh, tight.
So eight athletes down. That was unfortunate because there's quite a lot of breeze, wasn't there, coming into it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see his bow kind of catch one of those waves and just hop right into it too.
Oh, and we've started. So the first Frenchman today, Martin Thomas. He's also got a very nice style, very fluid. Kind of reminds me of Mardican, to be honest.
You should tell him that, or have you?
I'm sure people have. So he's 4th boat on the French team this year, but because they have 4 quotas, he can still race the World Cups. So very nice and controlled in that up left.
Yeah, and really tight through it. He's paddling very smooth on this run.
He looks very composed, just delivering his plan. Well, that's what it looks like. Oh!
Oh no.
Okay, we'll be able to cut that out, don't we?
Yeah.
That was tough luck. I mean, he was on it, and then it just seemed like he caught the edge in that kind of boily water. And I think it's a spot where you really need to stay flat.
Yeah, very flat. Oh, and nipped the gate. So 2 touches.
I guess there's more pressure coming on, because they know that it's doable, because no one's really sailed like the course yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's crucial for this course is to be, you know, you'll do whatever it takes to not touch the gate, but he did the last gate.
He almost had it though. Sneaky move, but not quite enough.
Yep. I think what's crucial for this course is just to be very flat and clean, and then just, you know, put speed on the boat to avoid the boilie stoppers, and that's what the Polishman did, and he's in the lead.
So here we go, Mr. Haneda. I suppose an outsider might say, well, he's come from Japan, he's got no chance, but an insider would say, haha, no.
I think he knows this course as well as the best of them. So
yeah.
So what's his story?
I can't remember exactly how old he was when he moved here, but he's been living in Liptovsky for a number of years. I'd say probably about 10 years by now, training with Mardican, and he kind of made that switch when he was younger, he wanted to be the best and
Yeah.
train with the best, and it's worked out for him so far.
Yeah. Very cool guy. And he was kicking himself after his first run, but he made it through in the second run, and he's going to have to really make up some time. A costly 2-second penalty.
Yeah, I think he's really experienced paddler as well, though, so hopefully he'll be able to kind of take the touch and put some extra speed into the bottom half here.
And not be demoralized.
That looked like he was actually trying to go direct, but changed the plan just last second.
Yeah, the low
worked
spin.
well. Ooh, super quick.
So they're nicely coming down the course.
Yeah, he's pretty good run. I mean, the touch slowed him down a little bit, but he's been really solid other than that. And that was one of the best I think we've seen the righties do on gate 20 there. It's not an easy up to do on your offside. It's a lot of work, especially at the bottom. Oh, no!
That's not what he wanted.
No, not at all. And that's probably going to be it for Neda.
So that's crazy. Someone who knows the courses couldn't put it together on the day.
Yeah, some bad luck, and you're tired, and the water grabs the boat really easily at that point. So,
well, here we go. He shot onto the scene about 5 years ago, and really hasn't. I suppose fulfilled his potential completely. The absolute giant, 9-inch from Croatia.
He's a big, strong paddler.
Did you remember 5 or 6 years ago when he came through? He was like, wow.
Briefly. But yeah, it's a touch on gate 4, but he's got good reach. He's very tall, so he can really reach far and bring the boat. But then again, you have small people that can also get a lot of speed on the boat. So in slalom, it doesn't really matter how tall you are or how strong you are. So I think that's one of the qualities of the sport.
And can you have different boat sizes depending on how big you are?
Yeah, exactly. So the bigger, the heavier you are, you typically have more volume in your boat. So they kind of sit with the right level in the water.
And do any athletes have several boats for different levels, different conditions?
I think it's hard because even though you get the same design, you can never fully get the same boat. Sometimes you just can't reach that level of comfort or just familiarity that you have in the other boats. So I think most people just have their boat and they always bring well, not always, but they might have a spare one.
Occasionally they get damaged in freight.
Oh, yeah, well, touch wood, that's never happened to me and I travel a lot, but it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling.
How's Martin doing?
He's doing alright. He's been kind of grinding it out at the bottom. A couple of the little stoppers have kind of thrown him off course.
Yeah, I lost a bit of time exiting out of the last downstream. You could see his boat got caught in the eddy a little bit. But held it together rather well. That puts him in 5th position.
Well, here's a client, is Luka Bozic, who really knows how to win medals.
I was watching him in training this week, and he was looking really good on the course.
It's very smooth.
I think it suits his style as well. The tight section on the bottom should be pretty good for him.
Now, star number 13, Luka Bozic, Slovenia.
And on the circuit in general, is this one of the major training camp places? Do a lot of the athletes come here? I suppose I should ask a European.
I think maybe the Czechs, especially when they're the younger Czechs. But I don't think so, to be honest. Well, I mean, I've never come here for a training camp. Maybe the Polish do, because it's relative.
the Polish come a lot just because it's so close.
That's one of the great things about Europe. You can just, drive 5 hours to a different training location.
And for us mentally, that's enormous.
Yeah.
Anyway, he seems to be going cleanly and nicely.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, a very smooth paddler, so we'll see how he negotiates the bottom section, keeping the boat flat and 1 second behind, so there's still the opportunity to take the lead.
Yeah, I really like the way he did gate 17 there.
Very controlled.
So we mentioned a couple of seconds ago the Polish coming over. Next week we're going over there. So it's Canoe World Cup 2.
Exactly, so I kind of expect then the Slovaks will also know that course pretty well. Goes hand in hand.
Yeah, and he's taking taking second place. Just scraped into second. That was quite tight, but you can see that he doesn't take his paddle out of the water, and so that anchor point can really just push him into the right position.
And that's just experience. And Pat Piantatia, who's next to go down.
So he's another very tall paddler with long reach, and he's paddling the boat that he designed from zigzag. So you don't see many zigzags out there, but it's very bouncy and always stays on top of the water. So he has very good control because he can control the nose and not let it bounce too much. But he can carry a lot of speed.
Very similar as Gregor Hedrick, the leader of this competition. He's going in very good.
He almost looks like he's not trying.
Yeah, well, his face is very composed compared to some paddlers. So he does look very concentrated and in control.
Going for direct.
Yep, nicely executed.
Yeah,
so
really.
now on to the second hard part of the course. We'll see if he can keep it together, but so far very smooth, controlled, and yeah.
Going back to that last point, I think, in slalom, when it looks like you're not working very hard, that's usually a good sign. It usually means that you're kind of taking advantage of the water, and not fighting anything, sticking to your line.
2 seconds down.
So then another hard part is if you want to just take the gates and be in control, sometimes you can forget to really put the speed on and tackle the course. So there's a fine balance on being controlled and also fighting hard to get the gate.
Going for a nice Sunday afternoon paddle, and you need to remember you're in it for a reason. So Greta Hedrick is looking good so far. 13 athletes gone. Next is the European vice champion, Mr. Burgess, Alan Burgess.
He's excited. Look at that smile.
He just lives the sport, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's really enthusiastic, really motivated, young, so it's good to have those positive vibes on the circuit.
Last time here, he gave us the benefit of his commentary because he would have made the final probably, but had a bad back and had to pull out.
Ooh. So, ouch. Okay, so that was a little bit sketchy and out of control, but back on track, you can see he's moving on, and let's hope he doesn't compound those errors.
So was that a human error, or was it the wave being unkind?
It's tough to say. I think coming through gate 3, you saw him on the crossbow trying to turn it down, and the bow of the boat just got stuck in the water and dragged, and then causing him to be late for the 4th gate. So sometimes it's the water, you get a bad swell and it catches the boat. Other times you just don't put enough edge or turn it fast enough.
So +4 is not going to be. So again, so you can see that when he does these crossbows, his nose kind of sinks in, and it's so hard to turn the boat when the nose is not above the water and very light. So a waste of energy, and very hard to get the boat back on track after a mistake like that. So unless he can make up 8 seconds down the bottom, it will be a very hard fight to get into the finals. Unfortunately, with 2 touches, it's not ideal.
But Adam's got the next couple of years. It's going to be desperately exciting with Dave Florence and Ryan Wesley, and Adam really going it on
gosh. So I said at the beginning, hopefully he doesn't compound those errors, but it seems as though that's what he's done.
Sometimes, one little thing just kind of throws everything off, takes away your focus.
But I think, did he get K1w?
I think he missed. He went right beside it,
Casey.
Now the American man, Casey.
I think he was telling me the other day it's his first time here.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
That's surprising. 2015, there was the World Cup.
No, he didn't, because I was talking about it and he couldn't remember it.
Maybe he's just done so many.
I can't remember. I was talking to him this morning. He was a little nervous, I think, heading up to the start gate, but
Look at that sprint.
he always paddles like a bit of a bull. Rips down the course.
Yeah.
But you can say that.
It's interesting because you can actually gain so much time just on those sprints if you really go hard on those flat water sections, because then there's a lot of positioning. So.
And he's half a second down, just half a second down, very close.
Well, he's starting to have masses of experience now, isn't he? Is it
No. Did he?
No, he stayed above the pole the whole time, I think.
Oh, gosh.
So coming in a little bit too high and
Oh, no.
missing that one.
So a few people have touched that upstream on the left. So, yeah, I think it's so important to go behind the gate. There's no point arriving high and tight.
Especially with that eddy, it's so strong. I mean,
Exactly.
going low, it'll
Yeah.
carry you up, give you a lot of speed.
Exactly.
Still, he's going very fast. He's from the aerodynamic
But we'll see what his raw time is, and then he can take that away and know that without that 50, he could have been in contention for the finals, or it's always a learning experience.
It's quite busy for you athletes because it's 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it is hard, and especially I think it's the same for Americans, Canadians, and Australians. We can't go home in between, so it is quite mentally and physically exhausting, but I mean, we do it because we love it. So
There, you see him kind of thinking, oh, I was under the 100 mark without the penalties, but
yeah.
Well, Casey has an asterisk next to his name, so someone's bidding for something.
Ooh.
Anyway, here's the master.
The master himself.
on his home course.
I'm very excited for this run.
So Martin, he's saying sometimes he knows this course so incredibly well. He always goes down it on automatic. He said about a
With
couple
his
of
eyes
times.
closed.
Pretty much so. A couple of times a month he makes a mistake.
I think he'll be ahead because we just saw gate 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was very tight inside pole. So he can gain a lot of speed very, very easily. Oh, no behind.
Super smooth though on the top, and online I think this section he's really going to excel. He knows the water so well.
Yeah.
There we see him come a little bit lower, but look at the speed he has coming out of the up.
Exactly. And his boat is very flat. I mean, he's not an extravagant paddler, so I think this course will be an advantage for him because he can keep the boat flat, and negotiated that so well.
Not surprised to see him go direct on all three of those options. He doesn't like to spin if he can.
And see, his blade is always in the water, so he just keeps the boat running, which is so essential.
So
in this
2
course.
second penalties. He's
I
really
did
going to
not
have to
see
do
that.
No,
something.
me neither. Might be looking at that one pretty carefully after this run. But again, he's another paddler who
Oh, and
doesn't look
that
like he's
pup
working
was
too hard. But
nice. Right, and yeah, so when you're inside pole on the last gate, you just gain so much speed. Will he go? Oh, yep, a new leader.
and I didn't see that touch, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see that 2 seconds come off.
Gate
Even faster.
11.
Well, fast
Here's
run to
the
100.
replay. Ooh,
So there's 10. Oh, they didn't want to show it to us.
yeah. Was that 10 or 11 on the left?
I think 10 on the left, 11 on the right.
European champion. Said he's European champion, but
The
doesn't
other
make
young
him
Brit.
any better than the day before or the day after. Brian Wesley.
Another great British paddler. Very smooth.
Smooth coming in there through 5. It was a nice turn. He didn't have to spend too much time setting it up either, which was nice. He was able to paddle right to the gate.
Nearly 1 second up. It's impressive for the top section. So you can see that this is the area where they can kind of let go a little bit, breathe, refocus. Same with after 13 and 14.
Does the word enjoy come into it? Can you go, woohoo?
I mean, you'd hope that a good run, you kind of always enjoy it because you feel fast and you feel strong.
I always find that if you make it through that last gate and everything's gone well without any touches, that's when you start to
when the
enjoy it a little
enjoyment.
bit more. The stress is lifted.
Yeah.
It says that he is
Yeah, good.
So he'll be hearing that commentator and be motivated, but also know that the race is not over until he crosses the finish line. So he needs to keep it together. But this is a very solid run, and if he keeps it together, it should be final worthy.
Oh, really smooth.
Very smooth. That's probably the best we've
fastest
seen.
time.
Yeah, he nailed that one.
He's nailed this run.
There you go.
Very impressive.
Slows up over the end and still comes in 2 seconds ahead of the field.
Very, very impressive.
Well, not.
And it didn't look too extravagant. You know, he wasn't super high in all of the ups. He just kept the boat running and flat and inside pole of most of the gates.
So mathematically not through, but probably through.
I think that'll be a solid time. I think that'll stand up. Might not be the fastest, but I think that'll be enough to put him in.
So Cheng from the People's Republic of China again.
Chinese paddlers are really strong this year. There's a ton of them here racing, I guess, gearing up for an Asian Olympic Games.
It's interesting because we don't really see them over the winter, the off season. So every time we do see them, it's a bit of a surprise. Most Europeans, they come to Australia so we can suss out their level.
Okay. So this is in the drone pics. Really shows you how the water flows.
Looks like he's going.
Oh, got a bit bogged there.
You can see when the boats come a little bit higher at gate 11, you can kind of guess maybe they're going to go for the direct move, but really tough with the different directions of current there.
Same thing as Adam Burgess there. The bow was just completely submerged.
This gives you a good view of how close 16 and 18 are.
Yeah.
And that wave becomes very important.
Definitely. For those that don't know the rules, if you miss the wave and you hit gate 18, that means you 50 gate 17, and 16 if you haven't already taken it.
I don't think we've seen anyone do that yet, but that's pretty annoying.
No, well, I mean
not.
the gate is the wave is quite strong, but
So
always a
you
possibility.
professionals know how to do it.
We like to think so.
Well, they really stacked the top ones, aren't they? We've had number 1 and 2 in Europe. We've had the legend and now the world champion.
And look at that drone here. You can see the second channel, which isn't up and running, but the reigning world champion.
I remember speaking to him about 2 hours before having breakfast when in Po. Before his, I said, "You got a race today?" He said, "Yeah, I think so." And then he was just so cool.
Yeah, I think the Slovenians are really, calm and collected. They're pretty cool.
So you might have Mr. Cowes or something to say this weekend. So a few years ago, Savchek used to be crazy, and then he sort of calmed it down a bit.
Oh, really?
In the sense that he used to have lots of errors.
Okay. Well, here he looks very composed, calm and collected, just executing his race plan. That was very smooth. Very smooth.
He took a victory in Tatson and it sort of persuaded him to go through the middle of the gates.
I think he has a very classy style. The blade is always in the water, and he doesn't really move his head that much.
Looks like the bow might have just bounced up there. Yeah, they've given him the touch on 18. Tough luck. When you're coming across that wave, I think it's important to stay on the top half of it instead of getting pushed down to the trough.
Well, a little bit pushed.
Nice there through 21-22, sorry.
I think this will put him into third, fourth, sixth position.
Oh, that could be a surprise. So far, Wesley, Martican, Hedwig and Bozic are looking okay, but the next 5 or 6 athletes are really top quality as well.
And no one has qualified yet.
Cedric Joly, wasn't he? He was, I think, a junior world champion a few years ago.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he was junior world champion 3 times.
Okay.
I hope I'm not mistaken.
No, he's your generation.
Yeah, he is my generation. He's a very smooth, cool paddler. I love his style, and he uses the water really well. So I'll be taking notes on his run.
Go on then, Spencer, tell us what to do.
Well, so far, I think just as he's done, it looks really nice on the top. And he kept the boat moving and stayed in the middle of the gates.
Very nice. He put a little bit of outside edge, which helped the boat whip around and up just in one stroke.
There we see him coming kind of low across the bottom of the eddy, trying to avoid the heaviest part of it.
And now the race is really just starting on the up left. Good punt there, so he managed to locate the wall.
Be interesting if you're at home watching. Tell us what you think of the split screen.
I really like the way he's done that move. That whole combination from the up left all the way down to there is really smooth.
Yeah, so if you look at the split screen on the bottom right, you can see the water flow movements and how boily it is, really.
There's no excuses now for video analysts, isn't there?
Alright, so let's hope he can keep it together. 4 French in the semi-finals, so you'd hope to see at least one in the final.
You seem to quite like the French.
Oh, just a little bit. I mean, my team is Australia, and then my second team is France, I guess.
That's a solid run right there.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be tight.
Well done.
Oh, second. Oh, he's happy. It's great to see people happy on the finish line. Very satisfied.
If you finish ahead of Mardikan, you could throw that line away in the pub. You probably don't spend much time in the pub,
Oh,
but if you do.
go Dan. So our Australian in the semi-final, he was in top 10, and I really hope he can, race to his potential and do what he can.
And he's doing both disciplines, isn't he? Which is great.
Yeah, so this year he's doing both. He missed out on kayak last year, but he's such a great kayak paddler, so it's good to see him in both semi-finals this year, and I'm excited for his season because he's a really strong, fast paddler that uses the water really well. So
And you have a couple of athletes from Tasmania, I believe.
Yep, so he's one of 2. The second one is Kate Eckhart, who's racing in kayak. So Tassie, there's great rivers, so they're really good whitewater paddlers. So you can see there he's really kind of Ooh.
Maybe a little bit too high coming in there.
One of many touches on gate 10.
Oh, there you go with the switch.
Oh, and direct. So you can see he uses the switch to his advantage.
Yeah, that was nice with the direct. He kept that boat running and really cut it pretty tight too. I think maybe that's some kayak influence.
Yeah, he seems to be staying nice and composed, knowing that the race is not over despite a touch.
And you athletes that double up, is it sort of camaraderie? You feel you're better than the others?
No, not at all. I mean, in one case you can think, well, we are at a disadvantage because we can't train as much in one class, but I think it's good to think of the positive, and the kayak can help your C1 and the C1 can really help your kayak as well.
Yeah, they really kind of, I think, help each other out. You get a really good sense of the water.
And the grunt, the final sprint, will be just out.
Well, no, not today.
Not today. That commentator.
So
I'm sorry
first athlete qualified is Ryan Wesley.
Yep. Is it a Slovakian? Yep, I thought it was a Slovakian. You can hear the crowd getting very excited. There are the drums. And
he's got a huge drum.
Gosh, I can't even hear the sound.
Slavkovsky, number 1.
The commentator likes to turn it up for the home athletes, that's for sure.
And he has the coolest bicycle. It's like a chopper with a little seat for his youngster in the front.
I love the color coordination. The man in yellow.
The drum man's out there. And clearly his father, Alexander Slavkovsky, is we were talking to him a couple of minutes ago, the organizer. But look at that, 0.22 up.
I think there are 3 generations of Alexander Slavkovskys.
Okay.
I think his son's Alexander Slavkovsky, Jr.
Well, the announcer's giving it all. He's sharing the same big open plan office as us. Office where we have
Okay.
It's like a greenhouse. Just
Ooh, a little bit caught there in the boiling water, and woo!
Ooh.
Oh,
Gone.
So fighting, but back on track.
Yeah, very scrappy through that section.
Very
but
scrappy,
he
but
still
made it
managed
through
to navigate
quickly.
clean, yeah. He's a pretty strong paddler, you know. I think he can get away with making a little mistake here and
Yeah.
there.
Ooh, still nearly 3 seconds.
He's really got to do something now.
Ryan Wesley really had just a very good run.
Well, to
Very
be
clean.
number 10 at the moment is 4 seconds off the pace.
So will it be Slavkovsky or Cedric Jolie?
A little hung up there, but not too bad, I think.
Whoa!
He made some good time up.
Oh, rank 6.
We don't know.
I think he's looking at that, wondering what went wrong in the middle section, and if he does go through, I'll be interested to see what he opts to do in that 11-12 section.
Next one, Rafi Evaldi. He had a very good qualifications run, especially in the middle. I was watching, and he just carries so much speed.
Part of the growing dynasty of Valdi. He's 20 years old still.
Yeah. Very strong paddler with a promising future. He won a bronze medal at a World Cup last year.
That was a huge solo. Was that in Prague when he had it like
Yeah. At the finish line or on the podium.
And going back with the contingent.
Ooh, bit.
Choppy.
Ooh,
Super tight there.
can't see the angle from here, but that was very tight.
Yeah, and he went aggressively to gate 12 as well, but this, you know, could work.
Ooh. So you can see it's a little like what looks like out of control, but in a controlled way.
He's not scared of throwing the boat around.
Yeah, definitely not.
But there's a bit of breeze coming in, isn't there? You see some of those gates are moving quite significantly.
Yeah, they're
especially the
moving
bottom.
a little bit.
Looks like the rain's actually started to come down as well.
I guess that's why you
the
accept.
rain is very horizontal, so
That's why you accept to do the commentary, no doubt.
Always check the
Protected,
weather
yeah.
beforehand.
We do have a slight challenge there because we have a leak in the roof, which might come into play.
so he's clean so far. So come on, Rafi, just hold it together.
Finish.
Oh,
Oh,
no. A nightmare. Oh, that's rough.
That was, I don't know, I mean,
Oh,
it looked like he had a nice little line through there, but sometimes I guess the wave, you know, you rush it and you
Yes.
try to pull a bit too soon and pop right off.
There's such a fine line between trying to be inside pole and trying to just cut too soon.
You can see the emotions. He gives it all.
He is a
Martin's
man of
qualified for the
emotions.
final, which is good news. So Michael Martin goes to do his
The German
Tassiadis.
Tassiadis.
He's been around a while now,
Yes.
exciting people for many years.
Very strong paddler. What's an interesting observation is that most athletes have opted for the Peak ST racer or the Hiko life jacket to reduce, volume around their chest. But he just races with the normal sandy line, so you can see that he looks a little bit bulkier.
Looks like had a few beer.
So I guess you might think it's a disadvantage, especially if you want to be very tight on the poles, but his paddling style tends to stay in the middle of the poles.
So he's saying, I don't care.
Pretty much.
He's saying it's not the life jacket that's going to make me have an effect on my performance. That was probably the smoothest
Yeah, that was
we've
really
seen.
good.
Very fast.
Are there many psychological games or any going on in this level?
What do you mean?
Well, just I don't need a thin life jacket or neither. Well, he's 0.8 up.
Yeah, he's on a very, very fast run. You can see the rain setting in. It's fogging up our camera. Okay, the last crucial 2 gates. Perfect.
Really nice.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's going to be
Wow.
really close.
Oh, wow.
The
Into
casual sprint
final.
to the finish
Great
line.
job.
007.
Job done.
Save. Tassiadis, Wesley, Jolly and Martican It's going to be a cracking final.
And I'm very excited for this paddler. He's the young Slovak who's on the senior team this year.
Liptovsky, 19. So this is the relay of the next level coming through.
Very smooth. Like similar style to, ooh, touch on gate 2 already. So very young and long. Look at his arms. Look at that reach.
Doesn't look too phased by that penalty they've given him. Either he doesn't think he has it, or he's
I'm not sure he knows because the commentator's keeping it quiet.
But I mean, he does. Again, he knows his course.
Maybe that's the
very
commentating
well.
tactic.
There's the psychological.
Otherwise, he needs to do something, doesn't he?
And it's tough to see on the video, but this drop is actually fairly steep, so that's why you don't see a lot of the paddlers really pushing down it.
Yeah.
You can kind of coast and let the water do all the work for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Catch your breath.
So some paddlers, if they're on the right, they'll do the direct and then the spin, but he did, because he's on the left, spin and then direct, and he managed that very well. So we do have a qualifier in the final with a touch, so maybe he'll be able to qualify with a touch as well.
Right,
but
it's really going
a
to be
bit
difficult
behind on the split.
There, you kind of saw him sink the bow. I think that was intentionally. He was looking at the pole the whole way. That might have been an effort to keep it underneath.
No, he's going to have to do something really special in the last 2 or 3 gates. So at the moment, David Florence is sitting in 10th, 4 seconds off. No.
So definitely out, rank 16. So
Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 athletes to go. And say Gregor Hedwig, who was one of the first to go,
and
has
he
made it through.
Yep, made it through. So the next one to qualify is either Jane or Luka Bozic.
Mikael Jane, he can put some. He's won a few races in his time.
Yeah, he's a quick paddler when he's on it, that's for sure. He's paddling well this year as well.
It's amazing the drums stopped because Slavkovsky's in 7th at the moment, so there's absolutely no local interest in anyone else doing well. So the announcer's saying, listen, you hit a 50, give up.
Low in the up there, but I think it won't hurt him.
Yeah.
Running it pretty well. Is he going to go direct, it looks like.
So boat is flat in controlled spin, nose down, and very nice.
Yeah, just a little bit below the gate line for the spin. I think that helps a lot on the exit.
It's got a very smart boat design.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if it was like a cow design, but then I realized it looks like hexagons.
Touch might have hurt him down there.
But this is looking good for Luka Bozic, sitting in a provisional 6th place at the moment.
He's fighting a little bit. He's been offline, and you know, if you're offline more than one occasion on this course, then it's a bit detrimental. Oh,
too tight.
Very tight. Yeah, so 2 touches. Yeah,
Luka
out.
Bozic has come through now, so it's Tasiadis, Wesley, Jolly, Marchkin, Hedzik and Bozic. Slavkovsky is looking good. Next to go, who's this chap you know quite well, I guess? Denis Gagosian, new Olympic champion, and from Marseille.
Yep, from Marseille. So we're from the same club. And yeah, he's a very smooth paddler. A lot of the time, it doesn't really look like he's going fast. You kind of look at him and you think, just paddle, but he's really very efficient with his strokes, so the boat just flies down.
And in your club in Marseille, where do you train? Is there much good water?
Well, I mean, I never train
No.
there, but he trains on the sea and on just a little channel of flat water, so it's not ideal training at all. So I think he's a very smart paddler when he trains, and he really...
Because he was at Po for a while, wasn't he? And then he changed.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to hurt his paddling. He's
No.
right up there, you know.
But from an outside, that's quite strange. Would you have the Olympic champion doesn't train on, he trains in the sea?
Yeah. people. Oh, so he's opted for the spin on gate 12 and then direct. Very flat boat. Very, very smooth. So half a second up. So let's hope he can keep it together.
And with all that advertising and sponsorship, he needs a bigger boat. Well done. It's a mark of success.
A little low coming in there. That's a tough move for the paddlers on the left. You see them having to turn the boat a little bit more upstream.
So in this section in particular, it doesn't look like he's going very fast. So I'm interested to see the next split. But, you know, very calm and composed. I've never really seen him grunt. Even in the Olympic final, I didn't really see him grunt. So
A little hung up at the end, though.
No, it's going to be tight, isn't it?
Going to be very tight. Oh, wow. Just scraped in.
Well, the crowd
Just
are
scraped
not
in.
too happy about that.
Might need to pick up the pace in the final, that's for sure.
So Alexander Slavkovsky still not qualified. 7 athletes have.
Yeah, he'll be sweating.
Uh,
Because the next one is a Slovak.
he spends a lot of time in Australia, I understand.
Yeah, he stuck around for quite a long time. But there are great training conditions, and here in the winter it's impossible. It's freezing, so I understand his logic.
But I think he's quite a good ice skater as well. Anyway, age 30 now, so, and he's known for his everything good about paddling.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the other two Slovaks, he's a very good paddler.
Yeah, and it's a tight team. I think he was the 4th boat
Yeah.
on the Slovak team, so because they have their extra quota for the World Cup, he's able to race. But you know, just goes to show how
hard it
intense
is.
this country is to race in. If the 4th boat is, you know, the top 4 in the world as well.
Yeah, an Olympic medalist.
So you can see that the gates are moving, so the sport is hard enough as it is, but when the gates are moving because of the wind, it just, you know, makes it harder. That was very fast.
To be fair, you don't actually train indoor, do you?
No. So the elements all come into play as well.
Well, he's in touch.
Yep.
It's about 3.5 seconds to spare if you want to make the qualifications, and he was nearly 2 down.
So the time he has to beat is 100.7 to make it into the final, or 100.75.
Hunt off the wall there, helping get out of the gate nice and quickly.
Well, we know there's going to be a Slovak who qualifies for the final, just a matter of who. Really
And
needs to go for it.
this should be safe.
Yeah, I think that'll be it.
Very good run. Ooh,
Oh,
just. It looked like he stopped before the finish line.
2 more athletes to go. Slavkovsky's in 9th
Wow, good
place.
control in that slow-mo replay.
You're really cutting the line, but as tight as
Very
you could.
cut the line.
So Thomas Rack to go next.
He's got a very good core. So I'm not sure about the color of his boat. It kind of goes with the water.
Today, doesn't it? as Ross from the ICF calls it, pooey brown.
Well, yeah, not wrong. But
In and out of the gate 5 really quickly.
look, he's very camouflaged. So far, so good. He's in touch. Another very good paddler. I mean, the level is just so high in this field.
Because what's interesting there is there's 2 more places out for grabs, and it's not the 2 favourites who are under the pressure.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see the Slovenian. I hadn't really heard of him before.
He's won 2 gold medals here before in the under-23 teams.
Ah, in the teams, okay.
Yeah, he was looking really good yesterday, so we'll see what he can do today. But this, you know, Rack looks like he's off to a pretty good run.
Really
a little low
used the
there
wave.
coming into 17, but he kind of pushed back into it pretty well.
Well, touch on gate in 15. So +4, we haven't seen anyone in the final with +4. So I think the Slovakians might be happy. You can hear their drums starting to bang.
So we come back with a check out and a Slovak in. It couldn't get better.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there, here comes the
Slavkovsky's
drums.
qualified.
Looks like he's wondering about those touches.
I like his solar panel style 3 stripes.
So we know 9 of the qualified athletes. Sitting on the line is Lucas Rohan. He's in
He'll be
10th.
sweating.
And now we have Juri Lenacic, who by definition was the fastest in the heats. Let's see
Yeah.
how he can go.
So will it be Slovenia or Czech Republic as the 10th boat in the final?
Technically very good, sits low down, so he should not have too many problems.
Not too many problems. Hopefully he doesn't have any nerves from being the last boat off, but pretty good start so far. Just even.
Is that the exact same split? Very nice and controlled down that drop and into the up and into the upright as well. Very tight. And now into the crucial midsection.
Really smooth. That was a great direction.
Yeah, very smooth.
You didn't see him pushing too hard with the paddle. He just kind of put the rudder in and let the boat come around.
So
It's looking good for him.
the time to beat is 101.03.
So far, if he does this, he's qualified.
Oh, touch with the back on gate 18.
Yeah, he's
As
going to
he
have to
exited.
really pick it up here, have a nice up.
So this is actually going to be a very tight for 10th place. I think it might be Rowan.
Just outside.
Yeah, just outside.
No. So we have the 10 athletes qualified for the finals, which are going to take place in a couple of hours' time. Are Sidivis Tasiadis, Ryan Wesley, Cedric Jolly, Martel Martican, Gaba Hedwig, Mati Benesh, Luka Bozic, Denny Gagoshinu, and Alexander Slepkowski. So a couple of Frenches, a couple of Brits, Brit, 3 Slovakians. Good international spread.
2 French, 1 Polish. Yeah, it's
All European
good.
final,
Yeah,
however,
well, I was going to say just one continent, but the best paddlers on the day. It was definitely an exciting semi-final. Tough conditions out there, tough boils as well, so we can see that the paddlers that made it through were really clean, flat and fast.
So I hope that's inspired you
It has.
for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Naomi Fox was really, really amazing yesterday. You with your sister, second fastest here in the qualifications.
It was nice of you to let her come first.
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't have any experience starting last, so thought I'd leave it up to the pro.
That's great. Right, I think we'll let you go if you want to go and do other things,
All
bits
right.
and pieces. That's so
Well,
kind
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very
Coming in.
much.
And a great final to watch, semi-final under a roof, which was good.
Enjoy the K1 women.
Thank you very much. The action continues. That was a really good semi-final. You know what it's all about now. We're coming to you direct from Liptovsky, Mikulas in Slovakia. It's been challenging conditions because there's been a bit of horizontal rain come through in the last 20 minutes or so. Water level quite high. But the course, it's challenging because the gates have been swinging around, the poles have been swinging around quite a lot, unfortunately. But if you look at the quality of the athletes who've qualified, they are really the creme de la creme of the paddling world. So the next event is going to go. Let me just tell you what's happened in the qualifications. As you can see, 10 athletes are going to go in about a couple of hours, and they're going to go in reverse order, as you see. So some really top names just missing out. As you see, Sasek and Florence just missing out, unfortunately for them. We'll get the benefit of the experience in a few minutes watching here, but it's a really difficult decision to see who goes through. And we're now going to move on to the women K1. Tyler Smith, how are you?
Good, how are you, Matt?
Thank you very much. I hope you had a bit of time to go outside and study the course. What are your thoughts of the course?
Yeah, it's similar to the course yesterday. The top section is very open, and you just have to keep the boat moving. And then once you get into the middle, it gets quite tricky, and you have to really take your time and pay attention to what you're doing. As we saw with the canoes, you can get into quite a bit of trouble.
So you can see for yourself the 30 athletes who are going to be going down. This is the reverse order that they came yesterday. Some came through the first heat. So the rules are the first, I think 20 go direct, and then the next have to sweat it out to try and qualify through. But we see some the big names at the top with Karina Kunle as she's vice champion of the Europeans, really, and there's always a fox there somewhere.
Right, yeah, we're starting to see a lot more. The second runs are quite difficult to make compared to the first. So there's always a very, very fast people in the first 10.
That's because you have a couple of the favourites who've messed up, and you have another 30 or 40 athletes chasing effectively 5 or 6 places. Yeah,
it's very tough. People get really nervous when they have to go that second run because it's just so much harder to qualify.
So, Yati from Spain. She's been around many years now.
Yeah, Spain, the Spanish K1 girls is one of the teams that don't seem to change up too much. It's same few girls every year, and they're always doing well.
And we'll be going to sail later in the season. I believe it's the 4th World Cup. So we noticed in the C1, it's not that much time changed hands for the winners anyway in the top section.
Yeah, and for this course specifically, there's not much time in the top to really gain. You just have to keep the boat moving, and the touches are very costly up early and on in the course. A lot of people seem to get a little greedy in gate 10 and are coming in quite high, and there's not much reward in doing that. You lose all your boat speed, and it makes the next gate's quite difficult.
So is it an advantage for the kayakers to have watched the canoeists or not? They don't really gain that much.
I think so. There's always lots to learn watching the canoes, because they have to do things a little differently, only paddling on the one side. And yeah, at least for myself, I think there's a lot to learn and see, so that's nice for the women to watch.
And so Tyler, your personal experience here, you've been on the water a couple of times, didn't quite make it through.
Yeah, so I was in that second batch trying to go out for those last 10 spots, and it was quite fast, so I didn't make it. But yeah, the course is excellent. I really enjoy paddling here. It's very difficult and technical, it's a lot of fun.
But you're over here for the summer?
Yeah. I this is my first year making the senior national team, so I'm racing the first year World Cups, and then we have the under-23 World Championships in Ivrea, Italy, in the end of July, so that's exciting.
And they've done quite a few changes there on the course, so that'll be good to see. Anyway, here we go. It is Veronika Vojtova, who is pretty much unbeatable in the what's it called, extreme cross now.
Oh yes, extreme slalom cross, whatever they're calling it. That'll be exciting to watch tomorrow afternoon.
Are you competing in there?
I did the time trial, but I didn't qualify, so I have some work to do next week.
Anyway, Veronika's been around many years. Often you see her helping out in Prague, and 2.7 seconds up so far. It'll be interesting to see what sort of reference time they managed to put down. But she's very strong, isn't she? Very, very determined lady.
Yeah, for sure. The Czech women are very, very strong, and you see in their paddling the way the boat just moves on a dime. I'll be interested to see how many people opt for spinning 12 or 13 or try to go direct. It's very directable, but it's risky.
Will there's 30 athletes to go, so clearly there's a bit of time in it. Will some of the athletes be watching the first athletes go down?
I think it's pretty individual whether or not you like to watch your peers go down the course. So some of the top 10 girls are probably not even on the water yet, and they're walking around.
Just time management, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's more common. They're just looking at the water and thinking about what they want to do, and not really worried about anyone else.
Well, it's coming through at a cracking time and clean, so it's clearly first position at the moment. Is that going to be enough to stand?
Yeah, that's about 10 seconds off the C1 men, so I don't think that's quite fast enough at this point. The top women should be quite on the same speed as the canoe men.
And it's Victoria Uz, who's been around a long time as well.
Yeah, very young as well and exciting to watch. Yeah, like those penalties on the early gates are really gonna slow you down.
So they're almost avoidable. We saw a couple of athletes taking early penalties, and then their run just really fell apart.
Yeah, so that's the mental game of our sport. When you screw up early on, you have to be able to recover and have a good run everywhere else. Because one penalty is something you can make up, but once you let it trickle down the rest of the course, it's not easy to be able to advance.
It looks like they're looking out the window. It's stopped raining, I believe, and the wind's come off a little bit, because we saw the last 20 minutes of the C1. It was really quite special. So it's a real challenge here, because I know when we arrived here on Wednesday, it was 32 degrees and really lovely and sunny. And then after the massive thunderstorm on the evening, the conditions completely changed, and they're a bit more water, a bit different colour water.
Yeah, it almost jumped back into winter, and the water level changed as well. So probably the bigger challenge is there's a good bit more water flowing through the course from all the rain. So yesterday was really your first day on the kind of a new course.
And does it make it easier going from low water to high water, or high water to low water?
I don't know. I think any change is difficult. Whether the water becomes maybe easier or more difficult doesn't really matter. When you get, it's hard to acclimate to any change.
And I know last year in Ivrea, when it really changed, people were saying, well, it's the colour of the water was mentally affecting them as well.
Yeah, I would suppose that could make a big difference. Well, in Krakow next week, there's supposed to be rain, so the water level is going to certainly be changing a lot, and that water will go from clear to dark brown.
So you know this young lady, Ashley Nee from the States?
Yes, Ashley Nee. She had an amazing performance yesterday. She took a year off, returned, and was very excited to make the semifinal.
And it's not to say poor you, but there's not that much funding goes on in the United States team.
Yeah, the sport in America is all donation based, and there's no government funding. So there's lots of self fundraising and personal sponsors and stuff.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's just the way it is.
So how's she doing?
She's doing well. She's very technically sound. Just like our teammate Casey Eichfeld coming into that gate a little too high and hitting it.
So how's she managing the water?
She's doing well, staying on top of the water, not too close to any of the gates, being conservative and just keeping the boat moving. And on this bottom section, when your boat's moving, you're going fast.
And taking a year out, I guess that's good for the brain, but physically it must be quite demanding.
Yeah, for sure. You have to keep training, really. So seeing how she's performing well, I mean, she did everything she needed in that year to rest and recover and be ready for the season.
Well, time to go. The first is 1:08, so she's not going to trouble that. It's going to be a challenge today.
Yeah, it's easy to to add up lots of time when you're just a little bit off the lines, and also she has several penalties, so that's tough to come back from.
Pretty down to experience.
Yeah, she won't be happy with that, but it's the first race of the season, and she's looking good.
So next to go, Mikulas Hasova. So from a local girl of wow.
Yes.
Originally coloured boat.
Yeah, junior world champion. Probably soon to be U23 world champion as well. Very, very fast and knows his course very well.
And a slight build. And tall, but it's very slight.
Yeah, for sure. She's super light on the water, and you'll see the boat just skips across waves, which is a very, very nice advantage.
It's sort of a combination of Ricky Funk and Jana Dukatova almost.
Yeah, a little middle ground there. Yeah, well, I think we'll see that spin on 12 quite frequently.
Oh no! Oh, she got inside.
Yeah,
2 seconds and probably about 3 seconds wasted.
Yeah, so one of the disadvantages to being light is you get thrown around a bit easier. We saw she got sucked into the stopper behind her. Yeah, 7 seconds off. It's not gonna cut it unfortunately.
The drum beat's gone up a bit, but it's more down to a learning experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there is quite a lot of pressure, isn't there? Because it's all family and friends and expectations and stuff. So you can't really, I suppose, if from the USA, you can be in your zone.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure for the Slovakian team being at home. Even though they know the course so well, everyone is here and watching and cheering them on. And it's a lot of pressure.
Not today. So Veronika Ritova, after 5 athletes down, 108.
Yeah, it's starting to look better than I was expecting. In terms of time, that could hold up.
Who's next to go? It's Camille Prinjean, who just missed out on the. I think she did quite a few races last year as an opener, and it's good to see her active today.
Yeah, it was exciting that she qualified for this French senior team this year. Stephanie went high up out of up 11, so she could try and direct 12, but didn't quite make it and had to spin. So that's a lot of extra time added.
See where she is on the second split, but she's slightly up. No one's really taken on this course yet, says he's sitting in his nice warm office.
These last 2 gates are a little misleading. They don't look too difficult, but it's quite. There's only a small wave to get you between the two.
Is she going to go take initial first place? It's a sort of. How do you read her emotions?
Yeah, so when you get to the bottom and you see you're in first, but you know you left a lot of time places in the course. It's bittersweet. It's hard to think it'll hold really.
Another star of the future and a top athlete at the present is Emilia Hilgetova, the niece of Stepanka. So again, there's quite a few athletes here coming from very distinguished paddling families.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. There's some athletes have this very long and rich history of kayaking in their families, and some just happen to the sport and are the first of their generation to do it. A little behind early on, but there's lots of time to make up on the bottom for Amy.
Again, another athlete that does extremely well on the extreme canoe slalom. I think that's the official name.
It was very, very nice.
This is looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, that middle section was much faster than Stephanie's. This should be challenging for the first place. Still a little behind though, which is surprising. In and out of that last stop, very important.
So let's see how she tackles the last section. Looking good.
Yeah, through no problem. Nice finish sprint.
Well done, goes in first place, and there's the smile. So I mean, clearly you're all physically fit athletes, but how does this compare to some of the other courses? Does it just leave all out there and you're exhausted, or is it not too bad?
It's quite difficult. As you get further and further down the course, it's harder and harder to paddle, just because of the water. Much less how you're getting fatigued. The course is a little shorter than historically. They're starting a little lower, so that helps.
And now we're looking at Liska Mintalova, as we saw. She's an outstanding junior, another Slovak. Again, I think this is the first time we've seen her in the seniors.
Yeah, I think so too. She had a strong performance at the selections.
Clearly with Jana Dukatova, if you're listening, hello. She has a baby to look after.
Yeah, I'm sure she's excited to see these young girls out on the circuit and doing well.
Well, I hear she's planning on coming back quite soon, suddenly. Oh no! Big hit.
Yeah, big touch, but doesn't seem to have affected her. Nice spin. She had a fast top, so it's not too much to be concerned about if she holds it together for the bottom.
The drum is about a meter in diameter, and he's rhythmically banging it every time there's a Slovak coming down, but 5 seconds off the pace. So we've seen two really young Slovaks so far.
Yeah, it's more and more common. We're seeing young juniors or young seniors racing on the senior circuit and doing well.
And then a bit later we have a young Elena Kaliska coming down. He's probably older than the two put together. Say 5.87 off the pace. This is known as the Olympic champion city to many, because obviously Martin comes from here and Kaliska comes from here.
Yeah, the city's history of the sport is incredible, and the whole community really comes together for these races and to support their.
Well, I believe there's 120 volunteers, and so they're given a rather fine T-shirt and some hot meals, which it is absolutely unpleasant outside today. Must be 10-12 degrees, rain coming in at a diagonal angle.
Yeah, it's tough conditions, especially for the athletes. Warming up is difficult when it's so cold outside. It's easy to physically get cold and then not be ready.
And a lot of them are wearing full cold weather kit. Although we're looking at Florence Mahou from France at the moment, who seems to be doing rather well.
Yes, she had an amazing performance yesterday. Laid down a fast run early on and qualified on the first run, which is exciting. And off to another good start. Held up a little bit in that spin, which is going to cost her some time, but still clean, which is important. No penalties to this point. Second behind, and that'll add some more time. I don't think this will be challenging Amy's time, but still a good run for Florence.
And there's tiredness coming at the end now. So fourth rank at the moment, but there's still a lot of athletes to go.
Yeah, I'm thinking for the final you're going to need around a 105 to make the cut. But we'll see. I'm excited to see someone really put down a fast run on this course, because we haven't seen that yet.
I think we will do. There's a few some real determined athletes out there.
Yeah, Vicky Wolfhart being one of the people that can do that for sure.
Vicky was saying she needs both. She needs to do C1 and K1. Clearly a couple of weeks ago she won the Europeans in C1. And part of the very competitive, as you mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Austrian team.
Yeah, she's an incredible athlete. She's competed in both categories for quite a while and been quite dominant.
And still doing university, sort of a course in university business as well, so it's a lot to do.
Yeah, the top athletes seem to stay quite busy, whether they're training or in school. Little stuck up on the rock, but still a great run so far. She stays off the poles and doesn't have any penalties. I think this will challenge the lead for sure. Low into that upstream, but she has a little room to play with. That penalty is going to be costly. She'll be a few seconds behind now.
So not too far back there.
Yeah, she made up a lot of time with that penalty.
So knows it could have been better. That's what you want to do. That's how you need to be protected.
Yeah, it's windy and rainy. It's tough to be out there. But
they love it.
Yeah, so many dedicated volunteers, which is great.
So I remember watching her in the Olympics final, Natalia Pacic from Poland. Dropped out for a couple of years and came back, obviously, the family.
Yeah, the Polish have Natalia and then a younger K1. And they challenge each other a lot, which is good. It's nice to have a training partner of your same caliber, and it really helps you improve. As we see with the British athletes, they push each other to further heights.
And then having Lee Valley available every day probably helps.
Oh, of course. A great training facility. Nice in the up 10. Nice and tight. Looks like she's going to go for the direct. Oh, going to the spin. Ooh, just going to the left of gate 13. It's going to be pretty costly.
Costing a few 4 seconds there.
Yeah, big mistake. It's unfortunate. The run was very nice till that point. Something like that will surely knocks you out of the final.
But so it should, though, fair. And we're talking the best in the world.
Yeah, of course.
So probably in local competitions that these standard athletes could do rather well. But if you're talking and there's a good show at this weekend. I think most of the top athletes are actually here.
Yeah, it's I guess for the Europeans, second big race of the season, but for other countries, it's the first big race, and everyone's trying to put down a mark.
And obviously there's excitement for many of putting yourself forward to be in the team to go to Rio in the Worlds in September. So not today, unfortunately. Goes in provisional 11th place. They won't make it through. So Amelia Hilgetova so far with 1:06.41 is the fastest down. And Kimberly Woods from Great Britain is a real serious athlete here.
Yeah, another athlete that does both the K1 and the C1 and is quite dominant with both. Very, very strong.
This is probably, I think, about an 8th season on the circuit at 24.
Yeah, lots of race experience, and you'll see it with paying off in her results. Up on the first split just a little bit. We won't see much variance in those first few gates. The cross out into this current is very important. And she's having no problem so far.
She looks like she's really in control today. Obviously, being a Brit, training in wet, horrible conditions is your daily affair.
Yeah, I bet they feel quite at home right now.
So she's on the split. Good.
Yeah, still up. she's going quite conservative, not pushing anything, just going easy and putting her boat exactly where it needs to be.
So it's a quiet run, which is a compliment. There's no drama, nothing going on so far.
Yeah, it's just very consistent and smart paddling.
Go on, accelerate. That hurt the last few bits where she ranked 5. That was really caught up in the last gate.
Yeah, those last 3 gates, there's many currents crossing around, and it's very bubbly. It's hard to keep your boat moving the right way.
So major companion and major competition. It's Mallory Franklin, who again rather good in the C1 world champion.
Yeah, we see these teammates pushing each other, and all of a high caliber.
Oh, 2-second penalty there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But as we saw, there's lots of time to be made up or be lost on the bottom. Just a little over a second behind, and surely that's something she can overcome.
But always seems to be never phased.
Yeah, that's the difference between the amazing athletes and the others is being able to have that mistake and not let it affect you.
Well, she thrives on the fact that you have to make 100 decisions a second.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see her second split. Not too far off. Oh, made up some time. She keeps this pace. It should challenge the lead, I think.
This is just like another day at the office. The crowd are not really pushing her. She's obviously quite dangerous. Now just need to keep the momentum going here. We've seen Pagarathi struggle to really push it on there.
Yeah, when you're tired, it's hard.
This is good though. This is good.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
So Mallory Franklin moves into first place. Hilgertova, Wolfhard, Horn, Vojtova, Woods, Mahu, Lawrence, Minatova and Gojchaga. There's 16 athletes to go. And an Olympic champion who on her day, it would be great to see her in Krakow next week, because watched it a couple of years ago there, was just amazing. It's Miley Shaw from Spain with the family here.
Yeah, an incredible paddler to watch. She's so good in so many different courses.
There's just power and control.
What about star number 3, Maya Ventura from Spain? She finished in World Cup 2017 on 5th position.
Almost a full second up on Mallory's first split. Well, she had that touch, so that would be the difference. I would think for Mylan the strategy is just take everything easy, and she can paddle right into the final, but lots of trouble in 12.
What happened there? She's obviously caught up.
Yeah, she spun a little too late. Oh.
And given a 50 there. Well, we'll have to see if that sticks.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened.
So it's going amazingly well, then it's just all fallen apart in one move.
Yeah, even if the 50-second penalty is removed, she's at least 5 or 6 seconds behind at this point. And that won't be enough for the final.
So 16 athletes gone, Olympic champion out.
Yeah, that middle section is very unforgiving, as we've seen with several of the girls getting into quite a bit of trouble.
So Maya Shuro, great to see you, but not today. Didn't really come together.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed with that for sure. Still waiting on that commanding run.
Well, do we have Lucie Badu from France who's not going to be intimidated here? This is good for the others because they know they can do their normal game plan and still go through.
Yeah, there's a lot of room in the final at this point.
Because you're not used to watching overhead footage, can you use it in your favor, or is it just so weird for the brain to process?
In terms of an athlete's perspective, it's quite useless. Not being able to see the gates at the water level is...
That's what you need.
Yeah, you really can't learn anything watching that, but it's super cool to have that as a spectator. A little bit of trouble there, definitely not her plan A, but not a big mistake. A second behind, but that's still a good time at this point.
From analysing the last 19 athletes, it's really stop and start, isn't it? It's really difficult to keep it flowing.
Yeah, so that's going to be the big difference between a fast run and the others is who can get down the course without having to stop their boat.
Ooh. Be interesting to see how Jess Fox takes it on, because on her day she can really do something special.
For sure. She lost a lot of time on those last few gates, and I'll be upset about that.
So Mallory Franklin starting to look good in first position there, and it's the very slightly built Marta Martinez. Can she float over the water?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll know how she's doing when she's that middle section. Nice through the top. Nothing exciting.
And do you think the fact that they're able to wear buoyancy aids that are a lot narrower now, does that actually come into play?
It can, for sure. One thing is it's a lot less restrictive, which is nice.
And so how does it work? It's actually built into the clothes, I guess.
Yeah, so you have a little bit. Ooh, that didn't quite look like she got her whole head in there, but she'll have to keep going. There's a little bit of foam built into your chest area, and then the rest is in your spray deck. So you have a much lower profile to get closer to the gates. Yeah, that wasn't very fast. When you have to move your head around to get in the gates, your boat's not able to keep moving the way you want it to.
No, there's a couple of spins there.
Yeah, 3 penalties. Trouble keeping the boat moving.
So you've been. This is your second or third senior season. This is your second season.
Yeah, I've been around the World Cups for a few years now, but this is my first official year as a national team member.
And do you walk taller? Do you feel? Does it give you confidence?
A little bit. I don't get too nervous about being at the World Cups, but I still have a long way to go.
There you go. Not today, Martin. So almost to the qualification stages now.
Yeah, the cues will be start popping up soon. And
so there's two channels. So they can use the left channel sometimes, or the right channel coming down sometimes.
Yeah, so it's all water level depending. So in the spring they have more water and they run the right side, and then for the rest of the summer they run the left.
Because there's plans there too. They're planning to put in a generator to mean they can actually do it all year round, but that's a case of question of budget.
Yeah, Claudia Zwolinska very fast on the top, almost 2 seconds ahead.
So second Polish athlete we've seen down Zwolinska.
Yeah, the younger teammate of Natalia Pachierpnik, but also no stranger to the World Cup circuit.
Well, we're speculating that the Poles, because it's only a 2.5-3 hour drive to Krakow, will know these courses really well.
Yeah, I think they do a fair amount of training camps here, especially on years where they know there's going to be races. She's going to be challenging the split for sure. Still up.
Good news.
Now she just has to hold it together for a few more gates. It's tough not knowing exactly where you're sitting. If you could know what your splits were at the time, you could adjust your race plan and take a little less risky lines, but no problems through.
Well done.
Yeah, she definitely slowed down in the last few gates, but it's no problem, and I think that'll qualify.
Could be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mallory Franklin's not excuse me, officially qualified, but almost certainly will. Eva Turchel, who's been around a long, long time as well.
Yeah, the Slovenian team being another, like the Spanish that don't seem to change very often. The experienced paddlers have the command on the sport in their country. Again, up on the split, but just a little bit. Nice in the middle of the gates. Very nice cross.
This looking good.
Yeah, she took her time to spin and put herself in a good position to go through with no problem. Really tight on that gate, but heads in no problem.
So held up for a second maybe, but she has that in.
Yeah, she's up on the split, but losing time places. So there's still lots of time on this course to improve. You see, she's just keeping her paddle in the water, trying to keep the boat moving forward.
Well, that could be enough. Moves into 5th place. It shows they're quite stacked, aren't they? The first 5 within 1.5 seconds of each other.
Yeah, they're all around that 105, 106 mark. And
Mallory Franklin has qualified for the final. Elina Kaliska, 46 years old. No plans on retiring.
Yeah, she's an incredible athlete.
Bit of a character. Let's see how she takes on her local course, which she knows, again, as good as anyone.
Oh, for sure. It's a huge advantage for her. Well up on the first plate.
Double Olympic champion. It's amazing you can keep at this level so long with the motivation. I suppose this is what you like doing. Why not?
Yeah, and Slovakia being a country that takes care of their top athletes and allows them to be able to train full time and keep competing as long as
they want to, as long as they're good enough, I guess.
Right, yeah. And Elena certainly is.
She's done that a few times before.
Yeah.
Just to see where she is on timing.
Definitely was not her intended plan, but she has time to play with, I think.
Well, it's tied at the top. The difference between 1st and 10th was Lawrence's at the moment, with 4 seconds off, is sitting in 10th place. Interesting to see how she takes on the last section, because she'll know what to do.
Yeah, a few too many strokes in that last stop. It's going to add some time. You can see the course is starting to take its toll, and she's having to loop around for that last gate.
Yeah, another one who is that's a shame, really. It's always good if they can do something on their home course. But it does mean that Zolinska from Poland is qualified. No, she's not happy.
Yeah, it's always a tough feeling when you have such a nice run and it falls apart on the last few gates.
One of the other Czech paddlers, Veligolova. Let's see how she goes forward. Well, so far, good start. It's good to see some two or three new faces.
Yeah, Barbara's been on the circuit for a while, I think, but it seems her performance has really jumped up this year. We're seeing a lot of people having that fast top split and not being able to take over the lead. Slight touch on gate 13.
Do finále a Barbara Malíková má na to poprvé sa náskok pol sekundy, ale dotkla 13. Bohužiaľ, you were only second of gate 13. She was the fastest in first big time, after second up.
So she's really taking on the gates.
Yeah, she's very aggressive. Two penalties now, and that's probably going to knock her out.
That's going to hurt her.
Ooh, very fast in that upstream. Yeah, you almost can't even see the gate poles when you're right overhead.
But you can see how much the boat is moving around.
Yeah, you can see how fast it's going.
Well, no, not this time. It does mean that Amelia Hulgetova's qualified. Luca Jones, talking to you briefly yesterday afternoon, she said, yep, there's a few tricky parts in here. And again, she's taken on the challenge of doing C1, K1.
Yeah,
Olympic medalist, which I think has changed the dynamic of canoeing in New Zealand.
Oh, it's incredible to see how she's had such a big impact from that. That result has led to a really big program starting. I think they're going to have a lot more competitive athletes coming out of it soon.
And they've got some real legends as coaches now, haven't they? They seem to. They've got Campbell, they've got Pierre Laborel, and a few others that are really sort of top coaches.
Yeah. When you get those important results, it opens a lot of doors for you. So we see Luca's behind on the top split just a little bit, but she's one of those athletes that'll hold her own on the last few gates and pick up time.
A slight touch. But she's busy though, isn't she? She's really high stroke rate. That's the challenge.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's going to be tough to make up all that time. For sure, Vicky Wolfhart will qualify.
Franklin, Linska, Hilgetova. But she needs to keep it going. She's to really push herself forward.
Yeah, solid top, solid bottom, but that middle section just cost her so much time.
So all energy now goes for the C1. Say arguably the top paddler in the last 4 or 5 years. It's Ricky Funk from Germany. She just looks like she's got a motor in the boat.
Yeah, her boat moves so fast. Early touch on gate 4, but that's something she certainly is able to make up later on. I don't think many men can beat Ricarda in a flat water sprint. She's so good with her strokes.
Always looks to have like a plan. She knows where she wants to put the boat.
Really tight on gate 14, but no problems.
See where she's going to be on the split. Yeah, looking good with 2-second penalties. No, a little bit low there, or not really?
Yeah, that was some time. 2 seconds maybe she added. But that's well within touch for making the final, I think.
So there's a fair few people, Germans, walking down with her.
Yeah,
it's actually possible here, because I suppose in Prague it's not, but here there's actually a bit of a space, and it's well done, great run.
Oh wow, really pulled it off and jumped into the lead.
And that's pretty much, if you look at pretty much any World Cup in the last couple of years, you see the same sort of thing. Anna Settila. So, again, been around an awful long time, bringing Brazilian canoeing really forward. Again, doubles up. It's had some great results in the last couple of years.
Yeah, she's starting to get that experience to have consistent results, which is important.
And clearly the end of the season is going to be spectacular, where she has possibly to take the revenge on the Rio course.
Oh yeah, the Home World Championships will be exciting, and lots of people want to improve on their Olympic results.
Well, look at that.
Wow.
4 seconds up nearly. Because she's powerful, isn't she? So she's really powerful and flexible. I suppose good combination.
Yeah. That's really far up. Almost unbelievable. What we saw with Ricarda's time, she had mistakes and was still first. So there is all that time to have.
Oh no, it's still okay. 2 seconds penalties.
I would think there goes her lead, but still well in touch for the final. Still up. Incredible.
Well, there's maybe lost a second. Maybe because Ricky went low though, so let's see how she goes. She's got the energy to keep it going at the end.
Yeah, you gotta hold together. This last upstream is really important. Not super fast, but not too slow either.
So a little bit time to play with, but not a great deal. So we're really close. Fourth, qualified, no problem. And she shows that what it means. They have to learn where the cameras are. Normally the brighter ones pick it up quite quickly.
Yeah, so much time to be made up. We could be seeing runs under 100, I'm sure.
Look at these. They're all really top, either overall season champions or world champions or both. It's Katerina Kudjova, who is a former world champion. Quite quiet last season.
Yeah, some athletes seem to come in and out of cycles where they have a very, very strong year and then kind of step back a little bit. I'm sure she's looking to repeat that World Championship performance.
Well, look at that. Nearly, we're saying that Anna was spectacular, but Katrina is nearly a second up on Anna.
Anna didn't take the lead, so she wouldn't have that split, I think.
Fair point. No, 2 seconds penalties. It seems really brightly coloured boats this year, which I didn't seem to remember from last year.
Yeah, it's for sure a new look for her, but it's pretty exciting. A little distracting maybe even, but that's all personal preference.
And how do you go about your boat? Do you have a pet design, or you just take the boat and get in?
Yeah, all my boats are blue, gray, and pink. I've been doing that for a few years.
Why?
Those are my favorite colors. I like cotton candy, so I like pen pink.
Here we go. Katerina Kudjova needs to really control the last few seconds. Let's get close. No. So 3 athletes to go. Who do we know now? Eva Turchel, Vicky Wolfhard, Hilga Tova, Satila, Zolinska, Franklin and Funk. So there's still good athletes out there. And now it is There's a K1w.
Yeah, just slid her back into that second gate. Might not even know she touched it.
Very focused, serious athlete.
Yes. Very focused.
Good translator of all. If you need to speak some languages, she speaks most of them. Look at that, doing good timing.
Yeah, up on the split with that touch, so that's similar to what Anna's split would have been. She's so precise with her boat. See, she's taking a little more time to position herself, but it's paying off.
Still up on the clock.
Yeah, and higher into that upstream than... Oh, yeah, there's the penalty. She was higher into that upstream than Ricardo was.
But this is still a good run though. And another 2-second penalty. It's going to be tight. So you're allowed to hit the gate as many times as you like. You only have 2-second penalties.
Yeah, you can only get penalized once. So once you hit it a little bit, you might as well hit it hard, as long as your head stays in. Wow.
Well, just away. Say Steffi Horn goes through. Just 2 world champions to go. Jess Fox, who is also the fastest qualification in the C1, ahead of younger sister Noemi.
Yeah, it's good to see the two sisters are pushing each other.
It's amazing. I mean, she has such a busy life, and to keep this level is extraordinary.
Yeah, especially in both categories. It's incredible to watch.
So certainly a good start.
Well up on the first split. She'll wanna take the lead for sure.
Also, she's been quite busy. I've seen a couple of meetings where she's in there with Liptovsky, as they're the athlete representatives on the ICF committee.
Yeah, she's very involved with the federation as well, which is good. It's good we have such a phenomenal athlete representing all the athletes.
Okay. It doesn't even amaze us though, because it's like another day at the office.
Yeah, she's really not even pushing it at this point. She's taking conservative lines and just trying to qualify. It's easy for her.
What I like about this course is we're not sure, are we? Until you've actually crossed the last one, we don't know.
Yeah, it's so easy to lose time and you really can't even see it.
But now it's just a little Sunday afternoon paddle.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Well done, Jess Fox. Well, you can see a really good image there of the whole 260 meters. Connie Karina Kunli did well in the Europeans as well, so she's certainly on a stormer for the start of the season. No one's more powerful than Karina Kunli.
Yeah, very, very, very strong. I expect we'll see on the first split she'll be up.
Yeah, the second up.
Yeah, these girls can certainly drop their time under 100. Just waiting for someone to do it.
Everything's looking good so far.
Almost 5 seconds between first and ninth. Oh, having to loop around for that gate didn't quite get her head in the first time.
But to be fair, that happens so often, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But very tough to come back from. We'll see where she's at on the split. She had 5 seconds to play with.
Oh, it's going to be really tough because 6th place is, well, no, it's possible. 6th place is 5 seconds off, so she just needs to put forward a really solid last 5 or 6 gates, and she could sneak in.
Yeah,
There's she knows that.
There's not too much time to make up, I think, unfortunately for Karina. Really nice through there.
This is going to be really close. Yeah, I said it was easy.
Oh wow. Right in.
So I'm not sure it's the smoothest race, but for pure paddle fans, it's great.
Yeah, there's still a lot to see. I think all these times are going to improve quite a bit in the final.
So that's the semi-final. Liptovsky still raining a little bit. We're going to go off air for about an hour or so, then we're going to come back with 2 finals, which is going to be the C1 men, and then we're coming back with the K1 women. So we'll give you confirmation in a second of the actual times. We're looking at some of the amazing slow motion images, but it's Jess Fox put on an exhibition because she could have done a couple of seconds quicker if she wanted to, couldn't she?
Yeah, for sure. She slowed down at the end. She knew how fast she was and didn't need to push it, saving some energy for later today.
So if you were a coach, what would you be telling the athletes to do now? Where are the crucial few moves?
I think it's really important to exercise some patience in the middle section. But 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, we saw so many people try to rush through it and have penalties or just miss the gate completely. So taking a little more time there will allow you to pick up time other places.
And no one seems to, unless my naivety, no one seems to have really nailed the last couple of gates.
Yeah, we haven't seen, well, other than Jess, I would say.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, but you're right. There's lots of places to improve on for almost all the athletes.
And these athletes, what will they be doing for the next hour or so? Is it a case, do they have time to give video? Do they because it's a really cold day, do they try and keep warm?
Yeah, so keeping warm will be the toughest thing. There's some of the athletes will have 2 full sets of gear, so they'll get changed and put dry clothes on and be able to stay warm.
And a couple will just have to tough it out.
Yeah, some people will just tough it out, or they'll put a rain suit on and take the wind off. But yeah, they'll all be watching their runs and looking at all the places they can pick up time. For Jess, she just does the same thing, which is nice.
And there's just some of the images to show us how extraordinary these athletes are. Look at that eyes of Mallory. She always knows exactly where she wants to go. And we won't be seeing Alina Kaliska, 46 years old, unfortunately. So let's see if we have the graphic of the actual 10 that are going through. Do we have any changes? No, it looks like everyone's still the... have we? Who's come out? No, still the same. So Tyler, we're going to wrap it up in a second, but thanks so much for coming in with your youthful experience.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Let's see if we just have the... There's Connie, who had the great start, bit of a mess up in the middle, and then kept it together with all her experience in the end.
Yeah, she lost so much time in the middle and was still able to make the final, which is incredible.
So here we go. It is Fox, Funk, Franklin, the 3 Fs in Zwolinska, sorry, wake up. Satila, Helgetova, Wolfa, Tachiel, Kunle, Horn. It's going to be really fast because all those athletes are really going to go for it.
Yeah, everyone's going to be looking to improve their times quite a bit, and I'll be excited to see someone run under at 100, I hope.
And there's a few athletes, unfortunately, not coming up with the goods on the day. But they actually made it through. There's quite a big starting field, so they actually did make it through from the first and the second heats to the semi-finals. An Olympic champion today with a 50-second penalty. Well, the Spaniards, it's surprising really for me because the same designer who designed Seo and designed this as well. So they're just a bit of entertainment for the brave souls who are still sitting out there for the next hour or so. Or maybe just some repetitions for a bit later.
Yeah.